welcome to the Radiant Eclipse MLP broadcast. This is episode 3, recorded on April 14th, 2012. My name's Vanacus, and I'll be your guide through this wonderful world of rainbow-colored equins. Please put your hooves together for this week's 3 co-hosts.
Well, hello, I'm C-Raw. I've been on this show before, though then it went by another name, the Vanacast, or, Equestrian Tides. I'm happy to be back, and this will be fun. Always fun.
Hi, I'm Coda. I'm extremely shy, if you can't tell already. I'm like freaking out inside, having mini heart attacks and whatnot. Anyway, it's great to be here, I guess.
So every week we start off the show by introducing our special guest. This week's guest couldn't make their appointment, so we're gonna wing it with a bunch of co-hosts instead. Even though Zero has been on our blog in the past, why don't you introduce yourself again for those who've forgotten?
As I said, I've been on the show before, going by the same name, I went by the same name, and for those that doesn't know, I run the chatting site called cloudsdale.org, and pretty much is the way that we found each other, I think.
So who's your favorite character in MLP?
Oh, this is a hard one because I want to answer all of them, but lately I've fallen for Daring Do. Actually, that's a pretty kick-ass character.
All right, what's your favorite episode?
That question is hard as well because I want to say all of them. I like the whole show. It's amazing. But I went back and watched season 1 again, and Party of One is probably my favorite episode because it just portrays a very different side of Pinkie Pie that, it was rather unexpected, but still not, you know?
What do you enjoy most about the fandom?
Oh, the people. It's all about the people. I'm a guy for like conversating and chatting, and I dearly love it. So getting to like meet all these amazing people, attending like quite a lot of different meetups and stuff is it's worth more than gold. It's priceless.
All right, so Coda, it looks like you're up.
I don't really have any skills or accomplishment to actually boast about, I guess. Like, I'm kind of sick at the moment, but I guess you can call me a singer. Like, I just love singing, and I've tried to do a song with Duskshine, who's a person on Cloudsdale. He like does a whole bunch of songs and covers. He's an amazing musician, but I sent him some audio files, but because of complications, he had to do the entire song by himself for some reason. But anyway, so that's pretty much sums up my debut, I guess. Not really much of an accomplishment, but it's something.
I've been immersing myself in the music part of the community lately because I do dearly enjoy singing as well. I love it, and I've found some really like cool people that I've gotten the chance to do some collaborations with because I don't play any instruments, so it's hard for me like to produce music. I could do some a cappella stuff, and that's what I have been doing. But like with these people that I've found, I've actually managed to get a couple of songs out there, and it's been a blast. It's been really fun.
Well, regardless, music or songs, the language doesn't really matter. It's all about what you feel from it. Kind of like the Numa Numa. That was like the most viral video out there. Like there were so many covers, there were so many people just rocking out to the song. Even it's an amazing song, even though it's not in English. Like we do have an English version, but honestly, I prefer the original non-English version. And then that song as well as Caramel Dancin'. That song's amazing as well to me, but this is all just my opinion.
All right, everyone, so Shady Skies has just connected, so we won't be hearing from him for the rest of the show. It's really weird. This whole day we've been just bombarded with technical difficulties, so I would like to apologize ahead of time. And without any further ado, let's return to the show. So we were talking about current event number 1, where we were wondering who you wanted to see instead of Tori Spelling giving coverage on the Canterlot royal wedding of Princess Cadence and Shining Armor. So that being said, I believe Zira just recommended Iglesias, and Coda, you're up. So who would you like to see instead?
Well, honestly, I don't really have an opinion on who's really covering the event. Like, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me personally, but like, as long as it's not someone boring, like, they don't have to be very, oh, how do I say this? As long as they're entertaining, like, you know what I'm saying? Or like, if they have that kind of voice. Think of Morgan, like what I was thinking of Morgan Freeman, like, his voice for some reason just like comes to my mind, like just him saying, just his way of talking. I don't know how to really describe it. Well, yeah, more Morgan Freeman. He's Morgan Freeman. I mean, and then who else? Like so someone funny, like C. Ross said, maybe Brental Floss too. You can probably do like a Mad Lib as the weddings. I don't know. I'm being crazy now. Anyway, yeah. So those kind of people, but like not someone really boring. Like, oh man, like no offense to people who do news or anything, but like if you want people to be interested in the event that you're doing or that is being covered, I mean, you had to get into it, and like you had to be enjoying yourself as much as the event. I mean, it's a happy event. It's a wedding. People had to be happy.
I mean, imagine if they got like the voice who does Dan from the Dan Versus series, or maybe John Delancey to come in and do a voiceover. It's Discord's voice who's giving the coverage of the wedding. They could take it in several different directions. Another personal favorite of mine is John DiMaggio, who is the voice of Bender from Futurama. I think he would be hilarious to have covering a wedding. One of my favorite YouTubers, Tobuscus.
Oh, Tobuscus, definitely.
I think he would definitely sell a good wedding.
Oh, it would be pretty cool if they got the voice of Kenny from South Park to cover the wedding. There's so many that could do other than Tori Spelling. It's not all of them make sense, but some of them would be really funny, like Daniel Tosh from Tosh.0. He'll be pretty good. Or
just these cynical critics who you think wouldn't want anything to do with the show, but maybe doing it just because they were asked nicely to and they're getting paid, and just make it really funny. Because I would like to see a lot of comedy in this as well as the coverage, because that's kind of like what the Hub's doing. They're being comical about being serious about a fictitious wedding, but they're very much taking it seriously, and I think that's also a part of the humor.
That would probably be good. I was thinking if you're gonna get a comedian, maybe Jeff Dunham, because he's a ventriloquist, so he already knows knows how to get those different voices. And oh man, I can imagine if him and Peanut were covering the wedding. Like, oh my god, that would be amazing. Like
Jeff Dunham would actually be awesome. Wow, yeah.
Like you have Jeff Dunham and his sense of personality, and then you have Peanut, which is like completely different. Like, oh my god, that would be like the most amazing thing out there. Like, oh man, mind's blown.
So those of you who are in the EverFree chat and fortunate enough to be watching this on YouTube, you should definitely leave a comment on who you would like to see take Tori Spelling's place, because we've all got some pretty interesting ideas, and I'm sure you guys have plenty more. So fire away, and I'm curious what you guys think.
Maybe King Leonidas. Or Mel Brooks. I don't know. I'm being crazy now.
No, I got one. Patrick Warburton is like probably my favorite voice actor. Most of you will know him right away as Krunk from The Emperor's New
Oh
Groove.
my god, yes.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't he also the same person who did Buzz Lightyear?
Possibly. I know Buzz has had several different voice actors.
I loved his voice. Oh man, his voice was amazing. Yeah, I remember that. Oh man, Hoodwinked was a good movie. I like that movie.
So yeah, Patrick Warburton. He's a great voice actor. I'd love to see him cover the wedding. Also, I think he's Joe from Family Guy.
Really?
Yeah, I can see the connection.
Yeah, but are they the same? Huh.
Come to think of it, Kronk and Joe kind of look like kind of like have the same facial structure with like the really over exaggerated like chin and cheek structure.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like that's just coming to my head right now.
Alright, so for you guys who are interested, since we are talking about Patrick Warburton and he was my recommendation, I'll give you guys some information on him. He was born in actually Paterson, New Jersey, in the USA, on November 14th, 1964, and he does English voiceover talent. He's Rip Riley from Archer, which is in 2010, and Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, made in 2007.
Oh yeah, I was right.
Made in 2000. He was like 5 different Buzzes and like one of the aliens. He is Krunk from The Emperor's New School, the TV series. He is Joe Swanson in Family Guy and The Cleveland Show. He is Stephen Barkin from Kim Possible. He is Sheriff Bronson in Scooby-Doo. He's also been in Teacher's Pet and Brock Sampson in The Venture Brothers. He's been in The X's, The Bee Movie, another Buzz Lightyear production, Emperor's New Groove, the movie, a whole bunch of others. Home on the Range, he voices a horse. In Hoodwinked and Hoodwinked 2, he voices a wolf.
Well, if he's voiced a horse, then surely he would be perfect for covering the wedding, right?
He's also voices different monkeys in Space Chimps. He voices a caboose in The Little Engine That Could, 2011.
He's very kid-friendly, isn't he?
Yes, I think he does Blag from The Wild.
That'd be awesome if he had a voice acting job in the actual My Little Pony series. That'll be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he even voices Superman in a commercial for American Express.
Like, even if he had like one line, like that one steroided horse that said yeah, like even if he had just one line, I would be happy with it. Like, oh man.
Oh wow, I didn't even know this. In the Spyro game that just came out in 2011, he voices one of the characters.
There was a Spyro game that came out in 2011.
Yeah, the Skylanders, where it was part toy, part game. But all right, we have gone on quite the deviation. So that is Patrick Warburton for you guys. I thought it was worthy talking about because he's such an awesome voice talent, and personally would be my favorite person to cover this. Although Tobuscus is a pretty close second.
Maybe Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah.
It could be any. If we're talking anyone, then there's just so many that could really make this event one never forget. And just who wouldn't like it if, let's say, Seth Thisto from Equestrian came on?
Yeah.
I mean, they've watched EQD so much anyway. It would be hilarious to see him cover it. I mean, not that he isn't going to be covering it on the blog anyway, but just the comedic aspect of that would be funny.
Absolutely.
Actually, you know what? We should get a whole bunch of other bronies just to cover the wedding themselves, and I'm sure they will. I mean, we always do. Actually, in some way, I think we are right now.
Oh yeah.
we are covering other people covering the wedding. So our second round of current events takes us to the 11th of April, when the infamous Hot Diggity Demon released another FIM parody, Magic.mov. So this video features Twilight Sparkle and Spike as they attempt to resurrect Rainbow Dash from the dead so they can harness the elements of harmony to defeat Discord. So, what's your favorite part in this movie, if you had one? And what would you like to see in his future episodes? I do believe he has a Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie episode left to make.
Well, it will be hard for him to make the Rainbow Dash episode when he killed off Rainbow Dash. It's just, wow.
We already saw by watching Magic.mov that he actually had Twilight try to resurrect her from the dead, but it was unsuccessful.
Or so we think.
Unless it's either A, going to be an episode about the robotic Rainbow Dash, which, I hope it is, because that character...
Crush, kill, destroy, swag.
Yes, I love that. Also, now Sweetie Bot has an idol. They really did kill off Fluttershy, and...
yeah, well, she might break out. You never know.
I guess for my favorite scene in Magic.mov, there was just so much witty dialogue for Spike, and I know a lot of the jokes they were doing were intentionally bad, and having the cute in audience laughter, and Spike doing random things like his head floating, doing 360-degree angles, and pivoting around his body, and just like doing really weird, impossible stuff that's just funny.
Yeah, he was really making that episode this time. It's like Spike's so different from from like the other characters. Like in our world, we might deem Spike as like the unuseful slob who just smokes pot and does nothing. But here, he's surrounded with like just playing crazy. So that just makes him look like the normal bright dude, which is pretty funny.
So, all right, not to be confused with the musician, Hot Diggity Demon has his own Ask Tumblr. It's called Ask Japple Ack, JAPPLEACK. It is all the craziness you would expect from the .mov series in the form of an Ask Tumblr blog, and it's pretty entertaining. So you should guys.
Yeah, it has a great storyline as well. So
it also has some language,
casually.
but aside from that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not safe for work. Definitely on the strong side of language.
Oh, depends where you work.
Yeah, it depends on where you work.
Depends. My boss reads
it has a very strong dark humor, I guess you could say. It's like an acquired taste of humor.
And I think that's just something that we all appreciate about the series, is we were drawn to the contrast. I think that's why there's so many bronies that like Grimdark, because it's the complete opposite of what you would expect from the series, and that's why people love it so much.
What was that? How did that one quote go? The purer something is, the more satisfying it is to corrupt it.
And I think that there's definitely some truth in that.
Well, not in my opinion. Like, in my opinion, I'm just very, if you're into that, go ahead. But I'm not really into that kind of stuff. So.
Well, you can take everything in moderation as well, you know.
Well, yeah, I don't mind. Like, I read Cupcakes. That kind of grim that stuff. Like, I can read Grimdark. I can immerse myself in it, and I wouldn't really change. I can read it.
Yeah, because recently I cannot get enough of Fallout Equestria. Actually became too busy to continue reading. I stopped somewhere around like chapter 35. But I'm very much looking forward to covering that with our blog. So.
The thing about Grimdark, or like for me, like if a story is gonna have all that gore, then it has to actually have a story. Like it's not just random senseless killing. Like it's like killing because of like a psychological fear. Like you know how the that one Rainbow Dash story, it was in the view of Rainbow Dash that Cupcakes was just a dream, and so Rainbow Dash was living in fear, and then she goes crazy and kills Pinkie Pie. You know that story?
See, that sounds interesting, though.
It's a story that Cupcakes was all a dream. And so when Rainbow Dash wakes up, she can't go to sleep at night. And so the lack of sleep is, having a psychological toll on her. And so because of that, when Pinkie Pie invites her over to actually make some cupcakes, being the Pinkie Pie that she is, Rainbow Dash starts freaking out. And so she has she attacks Pinkie Pie and kills her because, she's trying to defend herself. And, she goes like completely insane. And that kind of storyline, sure, it has the gore and all that, but it has a story to it. And that's what I love about Grimdark. Let's say that there's a war in Equestria, and so the main 6 are fighting. Or 3 of them are fighting for one side, 3 of them fighting for the other side, and they're killing each other. And I can handle the gore, but it has to have a story. If it doesn't have a story, if it's just senseless killing or rape or anything like that, it's not really as appealing to me as, because I don't know, I'm just that kind of person who loves it for the storyline. That's kind of why.
You do it for the plot, right?
I watch it for the plot. Shut up. I watch it for the plot. There, I said it.
It's a very interesting topic. Grimdarks, and I think that's the MOV series is definitely grimdark to the extreme, but it's done in a sense that makes you curious. If you've noticed, not all of these are just senseless craziness of the ponies killing each other. There is a storyline. We know Discord is attacking Equestria. We know Celestia tries to stop Discord. Twilight is trying to stop Discord by using the elements of harmony. So she has to gather together her 5 friends, who are too busy killing each other, and hilarity ensues. But there is a story, and they even got music and songs and skits, and of course none of the characters all the characters are negatively and drastically portrayed off of their worst traits. But it's part of it. It's
hold on.
And it's what I love.
You said the
about
characters are portrayed by their worst trait. So let me get this straight. Fluttershy's worst trait.
But taken to an extreme.
Yeah.
Fluttershy's worst trait is being a serial killer. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm saying her.
Bunny Brain Corner trademark.
Oh yes. See, in that case, it was her loving the animals far too much.
Oh yeah. I suppose.
So when McDonald's released, their plethora of rainbow-colored pony toys, the Bronies were extremely happy. They rejoiced, and there were some of the first show-accurate toys that weren't remodels of the older generations. But they're a far cry from perfect. The cutie marks are off, their manes are odd, and actually the manes are really odd. They're tacky and they're made of this nylon that won't stick together and frays, and the tails won't hold their shape, etc., etc. And so I'm thinking, now it's your job to design Hasbro's next line of pony toys. What's your vision?
Oh, well, it would be big, and it would be big plushies. Right there, yeah, big plushies. Really,
Zira,
big
you're
and cozy.
what are you again? You're a coder? Yeah, you're a programmer.
I'm a programmer.
And
Yeah.
the most creative thing you could think of was a really big plushie. I mean, come on now.
Well, it's like toy lights. Sure, I have like millions of ideas how to like make digital pony stuff. First of all, I do think that Hasbro themselves should invest in games for ponies.
Well, there was that one game,
and-
Fighting is Magic or whatever. It's like, have you guys heard of that game? It's like,
Oh, you have no idea. We got the voice actress for Rarity in that game who was on Equestrian Tides right before we started up this program.
oh really? Well, like yeah, they have that game. Is Hasbro doing anything about that?
They're allowing it. It's definitely outside of their target demographic, but they think it's neat, and because it's non-profit and doesn't affect their sales, they're not gonna post a cease and desist.
Yeah.
So it means they're not upset by it. They appreciate it, and they're not gonna take it down.
Yeah, it's the same with Equestrian Legends. I've been speaking with Sweebo, who is I think he's still in charge of the project, and yeah, he said that they aren't really having any legal issues with Hasbro because it's non-profit, and yeah, especially Equestrian Legends are still targeting the actual demographic of the show. Is the game's going to be for all ages? So yeah, Hasbro doesn't seem to have a problem with that.
Which is good. I think they have a great franchise on their hands, and I would hate to see them lose favor with the fans through bad public relations. So I'm very good too. Very pleased with how they've been interacting with the Bronies in the past. On most cases, there are some instances which were a little frustrating, but that were also necessary to make. And those of you who have listened to Equestrian Tides know exactly what I'm talking about. Those you guys will catch on eventually. For me, what would I like to see in the toys? Well, I know that having the nylon brushable hair just does not work. What I like about these McDonald's toys is they have plastic modeled hair, so they are in the correct shape, and most of them are painted correct colors. Like, especially Rarities came out very nice, and then suddenly Rarity has a magenta nylon tail, which makes no sense. Like, they came so close to getting it right. Fluttershy, Applejack, Pinkie Pie, and Twilight are pretty close. Rainbow's tail is really weird, and Rarities is completely off. But what I think they got right is, a lot of these toys have unique poses. They're plastic, which is good. The hair is plastic. It's not nylon. Like, there's nothing that tangles or frays. I'm thinking a solid plastic tail as figurines would be more ideal, and they would last longer. And
yeah,
maybe,
absolutely.
if you're gonna make a toy that's made for brushing its hair, why not make it like one of those like 6-inch figurines? Like, imagine brushing a giant Celestia's mane. That would make sense, or Luna. People would love that, and I think those toys would sell more and would make more sense, and they would still offer to that niche group of consumers that want to brush ponies' hair, but not the other ones that just want toys to play with, or for a lot of the Bronies, just collectibles to have sitting on their desks, which I'm actually looking at the complete set, staring back at me right now, when you guys know I went on my McDonald's crusade.
Yeah, it's a problem here. Like, our city is way too small, and there are too many bronies. So, like,
You can never have too many bronies.
everything's
I don't know
all.
what you're talking about.
But in this context, in this context, too many bronies, because there are never any toys left. They're all just gone as soon as they get
First
to the
come,
store.
first serve, bro. First come, first serve.
So, well, I do enjoy our meetups though. The last meetups that I helped arrange, or well, I didn't help arrange it, but when we actually got the group together, the group was so big that I did need to step in and like get everything moving, because there was just so much people. I think we were close to like 85 or something, just roaming the streets. So yeah.
So I guess back on the topic, I think the nylon hair in the ponies is a bad idea. If you want to have brushable ponies, make it a big one, so that way there's a lot of mane to deal with, a lot of tail. That could be mistaken. There's a lot of hair for them to brush. But you guys know, there's a better way to go at it. And I think the McDonald's toys were close, and I think Hasbro can learn from their mistakes, and probably for these end of season 2 into season 3 with the Shining Armor and Prince Cadence toys that are sure to come out. Hopefully a new set of the main 6 will be released as well, and hopefully they're done correctly and are more presentable and at least show accurate. At least do that for us, because I would be much more willing to buy the toys again, especially if these were official Hasbro merchandise that were accurate. That's very important to me when I'm buying.
The ones at McDonald's were not Hasbro. Like,
They were Hasbro approved, but they were produced by McDonald's.
Wasn't the McDonald's like Hasbro / Nintendo campaign one of their biggest, like in a couple of years?
Yeah, because didn't Hasbro help them make a whole bunch of Pokemon toys, or was that with Burger King?
Yeah.
I think that may have been with Burger King, if I'm not mistaken.
No, like McDonald's had the Pokemon toys as well.
And if I'm not mistaken, one of them had the gold cards that were really popular when I was like 7 years old.
Yeah.
You all know what we're talking about. You guys remember, hopefully, if that was a part
The
of
good
your
old
childhood.
card collecting days. Oh yeah.
With the first generation. This
Oh
still
yeah.
is-
Well, there isn't any other generation. There is just the first for me.
Oh boy. So yeah, I guess that concludes our shows. There's a good way to produce the toys. McDonald's got close. I think some of the blind bag ponies are very close to being great, and I know this because our other artists have modified the blind bag ones to look amazing. So I mean, if the fans can do it, then with a little bit more effort, Hasbro surely can. It's just more about initiative and whether they choose to or not. And I hope they do, because I'd be much more willing to shell out more money to get toys that really had effort put into them, and really, I think toys that would really reflect the best of what Hasbro is capable of producing. And they have such a great animation studio and department with DHX Media and the Hub and Top Draw. And, there's such a great network of people. You would think they would have more collaboration with their toy department, and I'm not just sure if there's just anarchy among them, but I would love to see some collaboration and make us proud. I'm not even like saying this as it is. I know this will happen. If quality, show accurate toys are produced, they'll be purchased.
Absolutely. Just look at the eBay market for all custom creators, which are also doing a very, very good job of making quality customs, and like people are paying a lot of money for those. And I think that Hasbro will at some point notice that, like, hey, there's a lot of people like doing custom toys based upon their concepts, and they're selling them for like quite a hefty amount of money. So, well,
or even just imagine if Hasbro just started releasing, these quality like 1 foot plushies of the main cast.
Exactly.
Those would sell like hotcakes.
Yes.
And it's like there's an entire market that they could be tapping into. And,
That's what I
you know,
said.
I
Giant
hope they do.
plushies. I'd buy it right away. Right away.
So yeah, you know, they're a great company. I just think the series is heading in the right direction, and I just hope that these toys are on the development line because I know they'll sell. So with that aside, I think we've talked about the toys enough, and we should stop recording. And
Oh, hold on. You never asked me about my vision of the next line of Pony Toys. No, let it be known, Vanacus is a complete.
Buy some apples!
You're a complete.
Buy some apples!
As soon as you said Princess Celestia with like a giant mane that you can brush, I was just thinking in my head, okay, what if there was a giant like Princess Celestia toy thing that you could have, but then like, you know, there was maybe like LED lights or something like in her mane, like her mane would like, or you know that like
oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Those
those yeah, those
follicle
things.
lamp things that look
Yeah,
like the hair.
and then like they change colors and all that. So like for Princess Celestia, yeah, that thing. And then like, you know, that would like completely change colors. So it looked like her mane is wavy, or like, you know, it's like completely changing colors. Like that in my head, that's what I was imagining. And then like Princess Luna.
That would be a really fun custom project because I've been working some with like LED circuits, and that would actually be really fun to do.
Because I remember like as a kid, I've
Just,
seen some of those and they're like amazing to me. I
yeah.
was like, whoa, how is this possible? This is mind blowing. And then like, you know, aside from that, I was thinking, and I saw this body pillow kind of thing.
And that's not the first time Hasbro would have made stuffed animals either. I mean, I'm pretty sure I even had like a Lion King plushie that was made by them, like the Simba one I had that was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet long.
Yeah, I did have a ginormous Simba.
So yes, okay, I wasn't the only one. So I know this happened. I don't know which company made it, but I'm pretty sure Hasbro was involved.
I'm pretty sure
in some of
that's
these in the
Hasbro.
The
past.
biggest stuffed animal.
With that being said, they could definitely make pony plushies, and they could actually, I would say they would probably do it better than their figurine toys. So I'm interested in knowing if they are planning on doing so in the future.
I'm just kind of iffy on that. Like, how would that work out? Like, sure, you would have the pillow part, but like, would they add a mane and a tail to it? Because that would be kind of awkward.
Yeah, it would probably be like a pillow. Like it would just be stuffed full of cotton, and it would be in the shape of the mane, or it'd be a part of it. I've seen several others, kind of like actually the Simba one I had. I remember it was like these blonde nylon fibers. Like it was covered in like this carpet shag fur material, but then the actual scruff of its mane was like this very brisk short nylon, and they could do something like that. Except for if it's a pillow, excessive amounts of it might get in their eyes and may not be good to actually lay down
Warning,
with.
choking hazard.
So, joking hazard. Yeah. So how would you make pillows based off of the ponies? I don't know. I think that's something we should design and consider, because that sounds like an interesting market that either needs to be tapped into by the fans, or Hasbro, since they have the most experience, should definitely cover it, because it's another way for them to produce income that not only their target demographic would buy, but I think a lot of the bronies would too.
Last idea I had was you know how you said you got some figurines from McDonald's, right? Because like once you introduce the ability of movable parts, people can do a lot of different things. Like they can do some stop action, or you know, just like other things. But like,
Well, just playing with toys. A lot of the best toys I played with had movable parts on them. They had joints. I mean, even a lot of the dolls that they produce. I mean, they're a toy company. They produce action figures and dolls that have movable joints. Why not with ponies? Why is it because it's the formula that's worked for them in the past and it just works?
well, once you have those movable parts, man, the community will take it from there. Like I've seen some people do some amazing stop motion when they have with the Halo figurines. Like, oh man, like some of the stop motion they did was amazing, and like I was completely shocked at how they could do that. But like, if you could do that with ponies, you people like online on YouTube, people are gonna like make up their own stories and all this. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, machinimas and yeah, I'm for storytelling. Storytelling's cool. I am pro fan fiction and animation, because you know what, Hasbro in their studio makes the series, they tell stories, and while we wait for more, we tell our own stories, and we do that through music, we do it through art, and we do it through animations and eventually film, it looks like. So why not? It's a great place to be. I think this fandom has a lot of potential in the future, regardless of whether there's a new stream of episodes or not. Because the fans are just so creative, I can just see them just continuing to create more content to entertain themselves. And first and foremost, Hasbro is a toy company, and they can produce good toys whether there are new episodes or not. So if even years after the series end, if they want to release plushies, they still could. I mean, they own all the rights, nothing's stopping them. So I think it's just a matter of when they want to, and or when they decide, and if the market is appropriate for it or not. And I hope they do, because I would like to see some more interesting merchandise of a little bit higher standard that I know they're capable of producing. Because in my childhood, I had good toys from them, and I've seen some of the toys at the expos that have been showcased as well. So yeah, toys, they're important, and for a toy company, especially because this is a merchandise-based show. So one would hope that the toys would at least reflect the quality of the show. Otherwise, I think that contrast upsets fans and just regular consumers. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for tuning into our program. But before we go, have some news. As you may know, our friends at EverFree Radio host a ton of other great shows. I've met with most of these amazing content providers, and I'm sure you'll hear from them on our program in the future. Many of you are familiar with Dusty Cat, the manliest Brony in the world. Not only is he a content provider like myself, you're even going to hear from him on Radiant Eclipse next week. His show is called Stay Brony My Friends, and you can find him on the EverFree livestream every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Another program you should check out is Equestrian Inquirer. Now, there's little I know about this program, and that's mostly because of how busy I am producing this program for you all. However, everyone I know who's talked about it has said nothing but praise. Their show is at the exact same time as Dusty's, and all you have to do is tune in on Wednesday. And last but not least, tune into Nightmare Moon's Lunar Republic Takeover. Like Radiant Eclipse, this program is easily accessible through the EverFree Shoutcast. And if you're persistent, you may even hear one of your favorite songs broadcasted live on Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Remember, this is a live event, so like any other EverFree program, please participate in the chat. Who knows? You may even hear from producers like me. Before we go, I highly recommend checking out EverFree Radio's premiere of the Seeds of Kindness charity album on April 29th at 12 p.m. Eastern. Many Brony musicians will be there, so mark your calendars and double check your list. This is an event you don't want to miss. If you'd like to watch the entire program, or any other one we've made in the past, you'll find each of the official uploads posted on my personal Tumblr, vanacus.com. That's vanacus.com. It's very nice, since all of the links for related content are added to the post for your viewing convenience. And you can always check out our official page on EverFree as well. Thanks for your time. See you online.
I used to look into the night sky. I would have never thought it could have ever ended like this. I can't explain, I don't know why. All I can say is, I'm sorry, Luna.
'Tis a lie!
Now I finally realize that all you needed was look for your beautiful life. They only love the clear blue sky. All I can say is, I'm sorry, Luna. Now I finally realize that all you needed was look for your beautiful life. They only love the clear blue sky. All I can say is, I'm sorry, Luna.
'Tis a lie!
Now you're
Will you accept my friendship?